Hi, it's Cordelia, the primary educator. I hope you are very well. So today we are going to talk all about vocabulary. So we know that there's a massive push in schools, and if you decided to homeschool your child as well, there should be quite a large amount of time spent on supporting your child to improve and extend their vocabulary. But we want to know why vocabulary is so important in the early ages and how we can support our children to grow rich and diverse vocabulary. And we're going to also answer the question why it's so important to do so. So, if your child is able to grow, and it is really growing, because let's say when your child is born and they're going through his toddler stage, they're picking up words all the time. The more you talk to your child, the better they will talk. But why do we need a rich vocabulary? Well, a rich vocabulary will support your child to say exactly what they mean. Now, I'm sure we've all been through it as parents, where your child is trying to say something or tell you about something or communicate something, and we just can't understand what they're saying. A rich vocabulary will support them into using the exact words that they want to use to help them to communicate what they want to say to you or to somebody else. Now, it also helps them to understand other people as well, because if they can understand a wide range of terminology, of course they can understand what people are saying, which is why it's so important for them not just to understand and not just to have an idea of general terminology, but to have a rich and diverse vocabulary. Of course, when they understand words, they can talk and write in engaging ways. So of course, say for example, I'm talking to you through this screen right here, you can understand what I'm saying because I'm articulating it and using the correct words to get through what I'm trying to say to you. If a child can do that, the earlier, the better, because they'll be able to not only understand what someone else is saying, but to understand the world around them as well. If they can read, not just in books, but outside, for instance, what's said, on signposts, or any type of wording outside, will support them to help them to understand the world that they live within. Now, it is critical for success. Now, of course, we all know that we have English exams. The better and wider the vocabulary, the better they'll be able to answer the questions and actually understand what they've been asked to do. Now, this also crosses over into mathematics as well. Children always get caught out in maths words and maths terminology and those tricky maths questions. Why? Not because of the questions, but sometimes they just don't understand what they've been asked to do. So again, the better your child can understand what to do, the better they'll be able to implement what their knowledge and actually do what the question is asking them to do as well. So vocabulary is critical for success, for reading, for writing, and communicating as well. It's not just a one-step thing, there are actually depths and levels to communicating. So the more words, the better understanding, the better your child will be able to read and write as well. I'm not too sure if you know, but children with a wider, richer, and more diverse vocabulary actually tend to do better academically and in life. Those with richer vocabulary tend to read for pleasure. Now, you know, where you've got books in the home and you want your child to just sit down and just have a read, give you some time to do something else as well. What if we could support our children to not only read when we want them to read or when the teachers ask them to read, but to read for pleasure because they like and enjoy understanding the text that they've read. Again, if they actually enjoy and can understand what they've read, the more likely they're able to do this for pleasure, not only when they've been told to do so. Children and adults with richer and wider vocabulary are actually more active thinkers and communicators because they're able to articulate them using a range of terminology, as we said. Wider terminology, better communication, better reading, and better writing. As I've said, this is not just about exams, it's not just about school, it's not just about reading for pleasure, but it's also about understanding the world that we live within. Once you understand something, you can effectively make choices, make better choices to support yourself in the long run. So my advice is support your child to read for pleasure, support them to grow their word bank, the amount of words that they understand, and you can do this through a wide range of ways. Now here's my 2 top tips, and I'll try and attach some videos to show this in use. Number 1, actually extend their vocabulary on a weekly basis. So for example, 3 to 4 word cards a week, that is it. Word cards which will support them to actually grow their vocabulary. Some words that they don't know and have never heard before, some words that they may have understood or heard but may not actually know what they mean. Go through them one by one and support your child to understand what they mean and use them in context, in a sentence. Get them to actually create their own sentence as well, so you know that they understand how to use the word and how to use it in the correct context. Here's, I'm going to show or attach a short video of my 4-year-old doing this. Now he does this on a weekly basis and it has really extended his vocabulary. One thing that people always say to me is, wow, he talks so well. But the thing is, I know that he not only talks well, but he actually understands what people are saying. Sometimes he understands a little bit too much. You know, as parents, sometimes we want to have a little bit of conversation between ourselves and we want to leave the kids to go and play. He's always that one that's always listening in the background because he understands. Now, this can be a great thing most of the time, but sometimes it can be a little bit annoying because he knows, and I know that he understands what we're saying. When they're younger, it may be a little bit frustrating, a little bit annoying because they actually want to know more. They want to develop their vocabulary. But later on in life, I know that because he's got this rich and diverse vocabulary, it's going to support him to be able to communicate better with people as well. So that's one of my top tips for supporting children with their vocabulary. Now, as adults, our vocabulary will only go so far. So using word cards or jumping onto the internet and finding words that you yourself may not actually use from time to time. Supporting yourself to actually improve your vocabulary in turn will support your child to improve theirs as well. So my top tip is you improve your vocabulary, your child will improve theirs as well. It's Cordelia, the primary educator. I really hope this video helps. Take care for now. We need to go through these words a few times. So the first one is recycle. What does it mean to recycle something?
You can make stuff out of different stuff rather than throwing it away.
Absolutely perfect. What about the word peculiar? What about peculiar? If I says, ooh, that's very peculiar.
It's different.
Yeah, absolutely. So something that's for food. But yeah, you could have peculiar food at a restaurant, couldn't you? What about if I said nourishment?
Nourishment. You're very good today, being on time.
Oh, not quite. So nourishment.
So nourished to drink water.
Yeah. So to nourish something is to give it food or water, whatever it needs, the vitamins and minerals it needs. Yeah. And the last one is punctual. If I says, you're very punctual today. What am I talking about?
Being very good on time.
Absolutely perfect. Fantastic. So we only started these today. Brilliant. So we'll get you next ones up soon, okay? Fantastic.